Okay, good morning students. So today we are going to discuss about chapter 13, organisms and populations. So in our previous YouTube classes, we studied about the adaptation and with that of the population definition and the different population attributes. So in that first we discussed about the natality, that is birth rate. Secondly, we discussed about the mortality, that is death rate. And third, we discussed about the sex ratio. And later, next we discussed about the age pyramid. So today in this YouTube class, we are going to discuss about the one more population attribute is variation in numbers. So what is a variation in numbers? Population changes with time due to birth, death, and the dispersal of individuals between separate population. Populations changes with time due to birth, death, and dispersal of individuals between separate populations. Thus, the population of an area does not remain constant. This variation expressed as population size and population density in a given area at particular time. See students, the population will always changing. It will never be the constant because every day the birth will take place, every day the death will take place. Some people, they are moving from for example, India to abroad. So there will be and they are taking the green card there and they are going to be settled. So it will be not constant always. It will goes on changing. Because of that condition, we'll say that the population never be the constant. The population density or a population will never be the constant. How we going to calculate this variation? The variation is expressed as population size and population density in the given area at a particular time. The variation is expressed as population size and population density in the given area at a particular time. So here this expression of the variation is expressed as a population size and population density in the given area at particular time is called as an population dynamics. What we call it as a population dynamics. The variation is expressed as a population size and population density in the given area at particular time is called as an population dynamics. Next is population density. It is refers to the number of individuals present per unit area at given time. It refers to number of individuals present per unit area at given time. See students, the population density. Suppose when we take our college, Prerana College, in that sections, which all sections we have, that indicates the population density. So in one section, in per unit area, we have for example, entire college is a population size. In that the classrooms are the population. We are talking the unit, per unit. So here the population density, it refers to the number of individuals present per unit area. Unit area is representing the classrooms. Number of individuals means number of students in the class. That is what we call it as a population density. Next is the population size. It refers to the total number of individuals of a particular species in a given area at a specific time. Entire Prerana College. It includes all A, B, C, D sections up to 10 sections and with that of first year and second year. Together we are talking about the population size in the college. That it is indicates the entire student number, total student numbers in the college Prerna College indicates the population size. I hope you all understood this concept. It refers to total number of individuals, total students in Prerna College. That indicates the population size. Next is population density did not necessarily be measured in numbers only. Population density did not necessarily be measured in numbers only, because in certain conditions, I given series of examples here. In an area, if there are 200 Parthenium plants but only a single banyan tree with a large canopy, in this case, the percent cover or biomass is appropriate measure of a population density. In an area, if there are 200 Parthenium plants but only a single banyan tree with a large canopy, in this case, the percent cover or biomass is appropriate measure of the population density. If take the biomass, the Parthenium is a small plant and it is having less biomass as compared to the banyan tree. Banyan tree is a big tree and it is having high level of biomass, but here Parthenium is having less, and the percent cover is also less by the Parthenium plant. So that a single tree, for example, if 200 Parthenium plants are covered in that area, so that entire percent cover is being covered by single banyan tree. Okay, the 200 Parthenium, these the plants which are occupied for example, the 30% area is covered by 200 Parthenium plant. But that 30% area is only covered by the single banyan tree. Then which is appropriate measure? So that's what. Because the banyan tree play enormous role in the community. So that in such condition, we are using the percent cover or a biomass is an appropriate measure of population density. Population attributes, in that we already discussed now the one example, that is the 200 Parthenium plants and one banyan tree. So here in that condition, the population density of banyan is low relative to that of Parthenium. The population density of banyan is low relative to that of Parthenium. The banyan tree play enormous role in the community. In such cases, the percent cover or a biomass is measured of population density. So, depending upon the condition, we are measuring about the population density. So, if the more number of plants are there, then less biomass is there. We are not telling that more population of Parthenium is there in that particular area compared to that of banyan. We are taking appropriate measure to calculate the population density. We are considering the biomass, we are considering the percent cover, and we are in some conditions we are considering the numbers also. In this condition, 200 Parthenium plants are there and only one single banyan tree is there. In this condition, we are considering the percent cover and the biomass. And the next example is there, if organism is very small in a size but a relative number is very high. If organism is very small in size but a relative number is very high, for example bacteria in petri dish, then the counting become either impossible or time consuming. So if organism is very small in size but relative number is very high, for example bacteria in petri dish, then the counting become either impossible or time consuming. So in laboratory condition, especially in microbiological laboratory, in Petri dish, they're going to culture this bacteria. So, to counting the bacteria is highly impossible because they are highly microscopic and unable to count the number of this bacteria. How we going to count the population density of bacteria? The population density of bacteria in laboratory condition, we going to count by using the colony forming unit, CFU. By using the colony forming unit, CFU. So this colony forming unit help to calculate the number of bacteria in a given culture. So it is helping to calculate the number of bacterial cells in a given culture. Okay, if organism is very small in size but relative number is very high, example is bacteria in Petri dish, then the counting become either impossible or time consuming. In that condition, we are using colony forming unit in a laboratory condition. So in laboratory condition, to counting the bacterial cells, we are using colony forming unit. It is also called a CFU to calculate the number of bacterial cell in a given culture media. Next, sometime the relative density of two population can also be done without knowing the absolute population density. Then what is the relative population density? Is the density of one population relative to that of another population. Relative densities of two population, the relative densities of two population can also be done without knowing the absolute population. What is an relative density? So the relative density is the density of one population relative to that of another population. Density of one population is relative to that of another population is called as a relative density. Next, absolute population or a absolute density or absolute population density. So, in this condition is the number of organism per unit area or a volume. The number, absolute population density is nothing but the number of organism per unit area or a volume is considered as an absolute population densities. So, sometimes the relative density of two population means two different populations. Two population can also be done without knowing the absolute population, the number of organism per unit area or a volume. So how we going to calculate? So here the example is given. The number of fishes caught per trap gives an idea of absolute about total population density of fishes in the lake. So the number of fishes caught per trap gives an idea about the total population densities of fishes in the lake. So we'll take two examples. Cichlid fish. Cichlid fish lives in a lake, and one green sunfish. It is also lives in a lake. If you put a trap if you put a trap in the lake, when you pull that trap, we'll get more fishes. Which species of fishes are more in number? For example, in single trap we are getting 50 fishes of cichlid. And in single trap we are getting only 5 fishes of the green sunfish. During that condition, we'll calculate that depending upon the number what we are getting, on that basis in this lake the more number of cichlid fishes are there as compared to that of the green sunfish. Like that we are going to measure depending upon the number of fishes caught per trap gives an idea about total population densities of fishes in the lake. Next, indirect measures are used to measure the population size. Indirect measures are used to measure the population size. In that, the first one is counting number. Counting number, it can be suitable for to calculate the human population. Counting number is suitable for to calculate the human population. Next is the percent cover. Percent cover is always suitable. Percent cover is more appropriate for the plants to calculate the percent cover, because small herbs and shrubs we can't count by the numbers. It is during that condition we are using the percent cover. Next is the biomass. For example, just now we discussed about the banyan tree. That banyan tree can be measured, can be used to measure that banyan tree's population density by using biomass. Next, peg marks or fecal pellets for tiger census. So no one is dared to count the number of tigers, because it is a very cruel animal, and so that they will calculate the number of tigers by their peg marks, the feet, wherever they kept. From that they have the marks on the surface of a soil, that is called peg mark, and fecal pellets, okay, the excreta. From that they are going to count the number of tigers in that particular region. Now we are going to discuss about the population growth. Population growth means increase in the number of individuals. Increase in the number of individuals, we call it as a population growth. So the population size fluctuated due to change in 4 basic processes. The population size fluctuated due to change in 4 basic processes. The first one is natality. Natality is nothing but a birth rate, and mortality. Mortality is nothing but death rate. These two concepts we already discussed in our previous YouTube classes. And next is the natality and immigration contribute increase in population, and mortality and immigration contribute decrease in the population. So then what is an immigration? What is an immigration? Immigration is the number of individuals of same species that have come into the habitat. Immigration is the number of individuals of same species that have come into the habitat from elsewhere during the given period of time. So for example, see students, our Dharwad is famous for educational institutions. Yes. So to get education, some students are coming from Bangalore to Dharwad. So the Bangalore to Dharwad, some students are coming. So that students, from those students who are coming from Bangalore to Dharwad, they are called immigrants. They are coming from, is the number of individuals of same species that have come into the habitat from elsewhere during the given period of time, that have come into the habitat from elsewhere, other places, from other places they are coming into the Dharwad. From Bangalore they are coming into the Dharwad. That is what it is indicates there. These students, those students who are coming from the Bangalore to Dharwad, they are called immigrants. Understood? Next, and it is denoted by capital I. And it is denoted by what? Capital I. Next, immigration. Immigration is the number of individuals of the population who left the habitat and gone elsewhere during a given time. So, see students here, in immigration is the number of individuals of the population who left the habitat and gone elsewhere during a given time. So, from Dharwad, after education completes, commonly software engineers, they need to go to Bangalore. They are leaving this place and moving to other place. Those peoples who are leaving their places and moving to another place, they are called immigrants. They are leaving their place and moving elsewhere. They are who left the habitat and gone elsewhere during a time, they are called immigrants. Understood now? So it is not only connected to human beings, it is connected to other animal species also. Okay, so this is how there are other species of animals also been showing the immigration as well as immigration. So next is this population size fluctuate due to change in 4 basic processes, that is natality, birth rate and immigration. From other place, if they are coming to the habitat, it will help to contribute increase in population. If they are, the mortality means death, as well as leaving the habitat is making to decrease in the population. So these are the main concept which are main criteria or due to change in 4 basic processes, that is natality and immigration contribute increase in population, and mortality and immigration contribute decrease in the population. These 4 are very important basic processes which brings a fluctuation in population size. Okay, and then how we can calculate the population density? How we can calculate the population density? By using this formula, nt plus 1 is equals to nt plus b plus I minus d plus e. Nt plus 1 is equals to nt plus b plus I minus d plus e. So what is a nt? Nt is a population density at initial nt is a initial population at given period of time. Okay, then what is a B? The number of birth in a given area at given period of time. What is I? The number of immigrants at a given period of time at a given area. Next, number of deaths. D stands for number of deaths at given period of time at a given area. And E stands for the number of immigrants at a given period of time at a given area. So this is very important formula and it will ask for 2 marks, and in NEET examination it will be asked as a some problems they will assign on these questions. They will ask some questions on this concept, like problems they will ask on this concept. And here the population size fluctuated due to change in 4 basic, and we already gone through this, and it will mainly by natality and immigration and mortality and immigration. So here the population growth is going to be mainly depend on these 4 basic concept we learnt. In our next YouTube classes, we continue with the logistic growth as well as the exponential growth. Thank you students. I hope you all understood today's topics what I discussed, and by this Saturday I will send notes on this concepts. Thank you.